Is there anybody there? I don't see anybody on. So hopefully somebody comes on here pretty soon. Uh, I guess I'm just going to start and see what happens. I'm just going to talk about gardening. What's in your garden this year? Are you planting anything new? My garden is so muddy. I wasn't going to go in and till it, and I walked on the side I was going to till. It's kind of hard to walk, not because it's muddy, but because I dug it with a shovel and there's a bunch of logs. And he broke up with the tiller. But what's going to be nice is my husband is going to till, not till, use his earthquake he bought, which is going to be nice. We're going to dig holes where I'm going to have the garden, probably about 6 inches deep. And then I don't know if he's going to do the whole garden with it and then let me till it. That way it's 6 inches deep in the till, which would be awesome because I have all kinds of things I want to plant. And I'm going to try parsnips this year. I've never had parsnips before. I don't even know if they're spicy like radishes, or if it's anything like horseradish, I'm giving it to the chickens. I won't eat horseradish, or I'll sell it all. I have no idea what parsnips, what it even tastes like. And I thought I had some radish seeds, but I must have planted that in a different container, and it's no longer with us. But we have potatoes left over from last year that regrew, so I'm gonna get the weeds out of that later. Not, probably not today. Just do this video for today. Uh, live live video. I'll pick myself and get the weeds out of that and keep it out. I'm gonna get. I probably end up having to go to the dump myself since I have a truck now, and go in there and get my own mulch. I was gonna say a shovel, as a pitchfork, and fill the back of the truck up with the mulch. And I think it's free at the junkyard. You just go dig it up and pick it. You still have to go on the scale as you leave, so they know how much you took. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna fill it up, then I'll come in here. I'm gonna put the mulch around my tomatoes I just planted, and then water the heck out of it, and let that mulch sit around the tomato plants and soak it up. Although it's really wet right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, so my tomatoes will hopefully have the moisture bearer to hold the moisture. Because usually when we grow our tomatoes, we put a ditch around the tomatoes, a little, put like the tomato is on a hill, you have a ditch all the way around it, and we just fill that up. They would like to put like 5 gallons of water per tomato and fill it up, just drown it. And then when it gets dry, fill it up again. And that way you don't have to waste the water on sprinkler system that's going to water your weeds. But I've got the weed barrier down with the tomatoes on there, so there's less weeds this year, hopefully. But we planted the tomatoes where we planted the pumpkins last year, so now the pumpkins That's the first thing we ever grew in that spot ever was pumpkins. Well, we grew chickens. We had baby chickens, or maybe not baby. We had, I don't know how big they were, but we bought some chickens to start out our flock when we first moved here. I don't know if it was 8 years ago or 9 years ago, but however long it was. And the chickens were, I guess, doing a good job fertilizing the area because it sure grew those pumpkins nice last year. And hopefully the tomatoes grows really nice there this year. But I have a whole lot more that I want to plant. And I'm not going to plant too much of spaghetti. Yeah, I'm going to plant spaghetti. Spinach and kale and lettuce. I'll probably wait until like October and start planting that. That way I can put it in the greenhouse and have it all winter, hopefully. And I can eat salads and drink maybe some green smoothies with vegetables. So I'm gonna also put apples in it and other things, so that way I can have a healthy breakfast. And I'm growing sprouts. I have alfalfa sprouts. Then there's a mixed sprouts that has radishes and which are, but I bought it at the health food store. You just put 2 tablespoons in your jar like the others, and soak them, and then rinse them every morning. So rinse them every morning and every night. I think for 4 days. My jar was getting full, and it wasn't 4 days. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and take them out. So I take the jar and turn it upside down and knock all the alfalfa sprouts out on top of a paper towel. Then put another paper towel on top of that and just squish it. Try to get all the moisture out of the sprouts. That way when I put it in a bag, it won't mold. Then I put it in the bag with the paper towel wrapped around it. So I grabbed a new paper towel that's dry and wrap those sprouts into the newspaper, into the paper towel, and then put it into my Ziploc bag. And there it will hold until I eat them. I try to eat some every meal. If it's something flat, it goes on it. Like eggs, I'll put it on there. Baked potato, if I open it up, I'll fill the baked potato up with sprouts, and butter and sour cream, and then eat it. And every once in a while, there's a seed in the sprouts that didn't soak enough or whatever, and they're crunchy, so they didn't sprout right. That's not fun to get something like that when you eat it, but hey. And then I also have some broccoli sprouts. And there's some MAUA or something like that bean that I want to get, but they didn't have that at the health food store. So maybe next time I might have to go through Amazon.com to find something like that. But I'm doing good just getting these sprouts ate. My husband won't eat them. It's mold. It isn't mold. You gotta be careful, it might turn into mold. Well, that's probably true. But I'm doing my best to keep the moisture out and eat them. And then if I don't eat them all and the next batch is ready, I'll just give them to the chickens because they like it. Speaking of chickens, it has nothing to do with gardening, and I know I'm talking to myself because no one's on here. And if they are hiding. Good hiders. Don't see anybody. Anyway, I'm not gonna let that get to me. I'm still gonna talk, and then people can still watch this later. But my daughter had some baby chicks that she bought from Tractor Supply, and she told me that I asked her, let me know when they're on sale because I'd like to get some. When she called me up, she told me, Mom, those chicks are $1 a piece at Tractor Supply. You better get them. we're here watching them or whatever, something like that. So we went up there, and my husband bought what they had left. There was 18 of them. About all 18 of those little bitty chicks. I mean, they were smaller than my nose. They were little. And brought those chicks home, and my husband wasn't thinking. I go, hey, we gotta have food for these. Oh yeah. He was just thinking of the chicks. He wasn't thinking, we gotta feed them. I mean, he does. He did. He knew you have to feed them. But at that moment, he wasn't thinking, oh, I gotta feed these chickens. But anyway, we got the chicken feed, and then we brought them home and cleaned the water, cleaned the feeder, fill them up. Got them their bed made. We had to buy a bed for them, but we got them all fixed up, and you guys saw that. But now we moved them outside, and when I was checking the chickens this morning to take care of them, I freaked out because I saw fresh black dirt on the edge of the chicken tractor where something dug under to get in. We only had 2 out of those little babies left out of 18. Well, one, I guess, got squashed here in the house before we moved them outside. Either it happened when we were moving them or something. Because when my husband took the baby brooder that we bought and dumped it into the garden for me to spread out for the tomatoes, that's where I saw the baby chick on the floor there that was dead. So that made us have 17. So that means 15 of them died or got eaten from whatever came in there. And we have 1 male and 1 female. I only wanted 1 male, but I would have taken the rest as females. Would have been awesome, but having only 1 each really hurts because even though they're only $1 a piece, that's $18. It's still sad because only 2. Don't know if they're gonna make it tonight or not. I blocked off the hole. Hopefully nothing can get in there tonight. So they're too young. They're too little. They're only the size of my hand. Used to be the size of my nose. So they grew. But my roosters, I don't like roosters. But my hens that I have, Butterscotch, Tina, Brownie, Red, and Bernice. We only have 5. We call them by their own name. They're all individually look. They have their own individual look, so every one of them are easy to name because they don't look the same. And I open the door, they come out looking for their bugs. They don't care about the grass. Wish they'd take care of the grass because we can't even keep it mowed. My husband's too busy mowing his lawn care to take care of our yard. So I guess we have more than 1 more. He's just gonna have to get a mower out there and let me get on one and him get on the other and we mow. And if something gets in the way, get off the mower and do something with it. Put it in a burn pile, put it in a scrap pile, whatever. Get it cleaned up. And as soon as we get that done, the happier I be. They say happy family has to have happy life. Happy wife, happy life, something like that. So hopefully that will come true. Anyway, those baby chicks, the 2 that's left is too small to go in with the other hens because they're bigger. They're about the size of my head or bigger. So they'll kill them. No, I don't think they'll do it deliberate. That's just nature's way. They take care of they pick on the littler ones. So I don't know. So I guess we'll have to just have one more hen and 1 rooster if they make it. Unless I go find some more and buy some more, start all over again. Got to figure out what to do on our chicken tractor to keep those predators from getting in. I don't know how they're getting in. I don't know nothing, but it sure is depressing having them get in there and eat your chickens. They must have been really hungry if they got. Well, I saw one in there that was dead, sitting on the edge, laying there on the floor of the chicken factory, on the ground in the chicken factory. So it didn't make it out, I guess, but it's still depressing. But you know what they say about stress, don't you? Stressed, spelt backwards, is desserts. So whenever I get stressed, I just go find me something sweet, either a candy bar or a graham cracker or some jello, a yogurt, a banana, an apple, an orange, something sweet, and take care of that stress feeling and make myself feel better. Anyway, I'm going to plant, I don't have carrot seeds yet, but I want to plant some carrots. And we're going to plant all kinds of squash. I'm going to do acorn squash, butternut squash. I have 2 different kinds of butternut squash, but I'm going to plant them. And spaghetti squash, zucchini, and yellow squash, which is summer squash. I want a whole lot of zucchini because I can make zucchini bread. And I love fried zucchini. And I can make stewed zucchini with tomatoes. If the tomatoes can grow a lot of tomatoes, we can do that. But I can also, in the fall, I'll be growing Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, red cabbage and white cabbage, and cauliflower, red cauliflower and white cauliflower. I love Brussels sprouts, so I want to get a bunch of those. But I'll be planting some in the ground and then some in my greenhouse because the greenhouse can grow during the winter. I'm going to just keep them watered and take care of them inside the greenhouse. So hopefully they can continue growing because I'm going to rearrange the greenhouse because we have 10 bales of hay in there right now. But if I turn it sideways, put 5 on one side and 5 on the other side of the greenhouse, I can stand facing one side and put the lick tubs on there. So you have 1 or 2 items growing. If they're big, like the Brussels sprouts, 1 can go into, maybe 2 can go into that tub. And then each one of those, like that, cabbages, 2 cabbages, because they need like 12 inches per plant. Some of them are 18 inches, but if I do 12, be a little bit tight, but at least I can get things growing in here. And then the other one, we want to try tomato, so we're going to try to grow some tomato, 1 tomato plant in the greenhouse, and maybe it'll give us some tomatoes through the winter. Don't know until you try, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try. And this says Kansas Misfit on the bottom, but when it came on live, it said Oils and Wellness with Marcia. So it's supposed to be Kansas Misfit, so I don't know what I did wrong. I'm doing a live video with one of my channels. It's supposed to be Kansas Misfit, but if I get credit for Oils and Wellness, then I guess I get credit for Oils and Wellness. So it don't matter to me. I mean, I just wish if it's supposed to be Oils and Wellness, I'd be talking about my oils. But since it's supposed to be Kansas Misfit, that's why I'm not talking about oils. But I guess I could continue with the recipes that I had found in here. Remember, I was talking about the recipes and the whole wheat bread, the wheat thins, graham crackers, and the wheat cereal. Now here's the next recipe in there is wheat flakes. It takes 2 cups or 275 grams of coarse whole ground wheat flour. 2 cups or 480 milliliters of water, 1 teaspoon salt or 6 grams. You mix lightly with a spoon until free from lumps, then beat just until mixed and pour into a cookie sheet or jelly roll pan. Use 1/2 cup dough on a 12-inch or 30.5 or 30.5 centimeters by 15 inches or 38 centimeters cookie sheet. I'm not into this metrics, but I'm reading it because that's what the book has. So if you like metrics, then that's good. If you like regular math or whatever, then that's good too, because they're both being read. Then you tip the sheet back and forth to cover the entire surface. And then you want to drain excess, about 1/4 cup from one corner, leaving a thin film. Then you bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius for 15 minutes. Break into bite-sized pieces and ready to eat. Now, if you want to learn wheat treats, here's what it says. Soak wheat in cold water for 24 hours. Changing the water once a day during this period. I read that wrong. Soak your wheat in cold water for 24 hours. Changing the water once or twice during this period. Or boil the wheat for 30 minutes. Wheat will triple in volume. Drain the wheat and rinse. Remove excess water by rolling the wheat into a cloth or paper towel, like I did my sprouts when I done get all the moisture out. In a heavy kettle, heat vegetable oil to 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 182 degrees Celsius. Put a small amount of wheat, about 1½ cups or 130 grams, in a wire basket or strainer and deep fry in hot oil for 1½ minutes. Drain it on absorbent paper. Season your wheat with salt and other seasonings as desired, garlic, celery salt, onion salt, or seasoning salts. This makes a crunchy treat. Sounds good. Okay, how about honey wheat? 1 tablespoon or 15 milliliters of water, 1 cup or 240 milliliters of honey. And then you boil to a hard crack stage, like you're making hard candy, hard crack stage. And pour over the wheat treats to give it a little crunchy flavor. Honey crunch. Okay, how about everlasting yeast? Now, who wants yeast that lasts forever? And the everlasting yeast. If you're going to do baking, you don't want to have to go buy your yeast. You can make it, and then you can store it, and then you have your yeast for baking your bread. It says 1 quart or 960 milliliters of warm potato water after you boil your potatoes, and then 1/2 yeast cake or 1/2 tablespoon or 5 grams of dry yeast. I use the dry yeast, but I keep it in the freezer so it don't go stiff. Okay, 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of sugar, 2 cups or 286 grams of white flour or 274 grams of whole wheat flour. And you stir all the ingredients together and place the mixture in a warm place to rinse until ready to mix for baking. Leaving a small amount of everlasting yeast for a start of your next time for the next time. Between uses, keep in the covered jar or refrigerate until a few hours before ready to use again. Add some ingredients except yeast to the everlasting yeast start for the next baking. By keeping the everlasting yeast start and remaking some each time, the yeast can be kept on hand indefinitely. How about a sourdough starter? Now that's something I'm interested in getting started on. I've never made. I'm not too fond of sourdough bread, but if I make my own, I might like it. I mean, I like making things, and when I make it, it seems to taste better than when you buy it. So I could try that and see what happens. The sourdough starter says 2 cups or 286 grams of white flour or 274 grams of whole wheat flour, or and 2 cups or 480 milliliters of warm water, 2 teaspoons or 10 milliliters of honey, or 8 grams of sugar. You mix well and place in uncovered bottle of cook, uh, cookery jar, crockery jar, Crockery, cookery jar. Allow mixture to ferment 5 days in a warm room. Well, it should be perfect for winter this time because it's warm in the house. In the winter time, it might be hard. Just get that heater going really good. Stirring the mixture several times a day. This will accelerate the batter and allow the air to activate the mixture. It will smell yeasty and small bubbles will come to the top. After using some yeast for baking, feed the starter to replace the amount used in the baking. By using equal parts of flour and water to the potato water. In 24 hours, the yeast will form and work and be ready for the next use. Store unused portions of yeast in the refrigerator in the glass of crockery jar with a tightly fitted lid and shake the jar often. Shake the jar often. Activate the yeast again before using by adding 2 to 3 tablespoons or 18 to 27 grams of flour and a small amount, 30 to 45 milliliters of water to store. Homemade yeast can be used to replace all or part of the commercial yeast called for in the recipe. Allow 24 hours for homemade yeast to rise. Now, how would you like a recipe? Oops, wrong direction. How would you like a recipe for yogurt? It says 1 quart or 968 milliliters of lukewarm water, 2 cups or 134 grams of dry powdered milk, 2 tablespoons or 32 grams of plain yogurt or dry yogurt starter. Never heard of dry yogurt starter. Anyway, excuse me. Mix all the ingredients together and pour into a thermos bottle and let it stand overnight. To make cream cheese, hang and finish the yogurt. Hang the finished yogurt in a cheesecloth bag overnight and salt to taste. To make salad dressing or sour cream substitute, add salt and seasonings. To serve as a dessert, add sugar to taste. How about sweetened condensed milk? Now I use that when I'm making all my pies. so I can make my own and not have to go to the store if I have the ingredients. So it's time now, if you're listening, when you watch this, to get the ingredients you need on hand in a big enough container to store it and find a place to store it where you can make your things you need and not have to go to the store. That's what I'm going to try to do. I need to go to Walmart and get those 5-gallon buckets and lids so they can shut, and then start getting the things I need, like powder milk and whatever, sugar, flour, stuff like that. Here's a sweet condensed milk. In a small bowl, combine 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons or 75 grams of non-fat dry milk and 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters of warm water. Add 3/4 cup or 147 grams of sugar and stir until dissolved. If necessary, set a bowl of hot water to hasten the dissolving. Although not as thick as regular sweetened condensed milk, this works well as a substitute. Sounds easy enough. Okay. Egg substitute for using in baking. Well, as long as I have hens, I won't need that, but if I lose my hens because I need meat to eat, and then I guess it's nice to have this recipe for egg substitute. It says before starting a recipe for cookies, cakes, etc., combine 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of unflavored gelatin with 3 tablespoons or 45 milliliters of cold water and 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon or 35 milliliters of boiling water. This mixture will substitute for 1 egg in recipe. Rice pudding. Oh, I love rice pudding. Okay, 1 cup or 198 grams of rice, 3/4 cups or 147 grams of sugar, 3/4 cups or 107 grams of raisins, 1 quart or 960 milliliters of milk, reconstituted, canned, or powdered, and 1/2 teaspoon or 8 grams of nutmeg, or you can use nutmeg essential oils from Young Living. I use nutmeg oils as well as what the recipe calls for to spice it up a little bit more, because the liquid oil from Young Living, the essential oils, just tastes so much better. Even if you have nutmeg fresh and you grate it, the oil will just punch that up really good. And then you mix all ingredients together in a 1.5 quart or 1.5 liters ovenware casserole and bake 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 148 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Serve hot or cold, and it makes 8 servings. Okay. French salad dressing. You like French salad dressing? Here's the recipe. 1 can or 10 ounces or 300 milliliters of condensed tomato soup, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of pepper, 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of dry mustard, 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of Worcestershire sauce, 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters of vinegar, 1 cup or 200 grams of brown sugar, 1 small onion chopped, 1 cup or 245 milliliters of salad oil. Combine all the ingredients, shake well, and keep it in the refrigerator. Now here's sprouting. Remember I told you I was doing sprouts? They have some sprouting advertising in this as well. So I'm going to read what it is, see if I'm doing my sprouting right, see if there's something I need to learn. But we're never too old to learn anything. Rotate your seed storage, for fresh seeds tend to be more viable than those stored for long periods of time. When sprouting, place the proper amount of seeds and water in a wide-mouthed bottle and soak for 8 to 12 hours. After soaking, cover the bottle with a piece of nylon stocking, net, or fiberglass window screening. Well, my bottle came with that screening, so cover that. Hold in place with the elastic band or a regular bottle ring, so air and water can pass through freely. Pour the water in the jar and gently shake. Pour off the water and lay the jar on its side in a dark place. Repeat this 2 to 3 times a day. Seed sprouts in 2 days. Use 2 cups per quart. Use 2 cups per quart, approximately 1 liter. Rye, 500 grams. Wheat, 180 grams. Beans, 360 grams. Rice, 400 grams. And oats, 500 grams. Seeds sprout in 3 to 5 days, using the following quantities per quart, approximately 1 liter. Alfalfa, 1 tablespoon. I put 2, so 1 tablespoon. I'm going to drop it down to 1 and see what happens, or 18 grams. Lentils, which I don't have, is 2 tablespoons, or 30 grams. Clover, that's inside one that's mixed up with the celery and stuff. So clover, 2 tablespoons, or 30 grams. Mung beans, that's what I'm waiting on. I want to get some of that, but the health food store don't have it right now. They're going to order it. Mung beans, 2 tablespoons, or 30 grams. Garbanzo beans, 1/2 cup, 120 grams. I love garbanzo beans. And you can mix all those together and have salad. You probably can put your French salad dressing over it and eat it. Oh, that would be so tasty. Suggestion for using sprouts. Mix sprouts into a casserole, nut loaves, meat loaves, poultry dressing, vegetable salads, gelatin salads, soups, stews, egg dishes, souffles, scrambled eggs. For bread dough, use sprouts from wheat, rye, or oats. In soups, stews, and omelets, add sprouts just before serving. Navy beans, soybeans, and pinto bean sprouts should be cooked. Most sprouts make a fine crisp salad or sandwich filling when served with dressing made from cream cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, avocados, cooked sprouts, mashed beans, and cheese spread. Man, it's making me hungry. Hello. I don't know who you are, but thank you for coming in. I'm talking about recipes. Hopefully you're interested in recipes. Let's see. Alfalfa and lentil sprouts make an excellent salad when used alone or in a leafy salad with vegetables, using a dressing of your choice on each salad. I know my husband wouldn't eat that at all. Unless I snuck it in there, then that wouldn't be very nice, would it? Okay, how about macaroni salad? Here's a recipe for macaroni salad. 1 cup or 136 grams of uncooked macaroni. When that's cooked, it's probably going to make 2 cups. But 1 cup. Okay. 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt. 4 cups or 960 milliliters of boiling water. 1 can or 6.5 ounces or 196 grams of tuna fish. 1 cup or 150 grams chopped vegetables like celery, green peppers, onions, sprouts, green peas, carrots, etc., and salad dressing. Bring water and salt to a boil. Add the macaroni. Boil until tender, about 10 minutes. Do not overcook. Drain. Rinse in cold water. Drain again. Chill. Mix the tuna fish or the other cold meats and vegetables. Marinate with the salad dressing and taste approximately 1/3 cup, 50 grams. Sounds good. Maybe I can make that for the coming holidays, this uh, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, nice little get together dish. About tuna and noodle casserole. Here's the recipe for that. 8 ounces or 220 grams of noodles, 1 can or 6.5 ounces or 196 grams of tuna fish, 1 can, 10 ounces or 280 grams of condensed mushroom or chicken soup, 2/3 cup of or 161 milliliters of milk, canned or reconstituted powdered milk, 1/2 cup or 70 grams of buttered crumbs, and then you cook your noodles for 4 cups. Cook noodles in 4 cups, approximately 1 liter of boiling water. Rinse and drain. Arrange the noodles and the tuna fish in layers in the casserole. Combine the soup and milk. Pour over the noodles and the fish. Top with the buttered crumbs and add a dash of paprika and bake in a moderate oven of 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. About 25 minutes or until brown. Spread makes about 6 servings. Now I like cheese on mine. I'm a cheese lover, so I gotta put cheese in that tuna casserole, or it wouldn't taste good to me. About tortillas. Now that'd be a nice recipe to learn how to make tortillas, because we eat tortillas once in a while. I make my own homemade bread. Might as well make homemade tortillas if I can. Knock on wood. 1 cup or 146 grams of cornmeal, 1 cup or 143 grams of white flour. Ground corn may be substitute for about 2 ingredients. For the above 2 ingredients. 1 cup, 1/2 cup or 220 milliliters of water, and 1/2 teaspoon or 3 grams of salt. Mix the ingredients together and knead well. Add small amounts of water if necessary and let it stand for 10 minutes. Knead or pat or slap into the shape of a thin pancake. Add more water or flour as needed. Cook on top of the stove or ungreased heavy iron or Teflon coated skillet. I like the iron skillets, cast iron. Turning so as to cook through, not to burn it. And then serve with a topping of mashed chili beans and grated cheese. Oh, that's like the tostada. Okay, that sounds good. Chili beans, it says, for the next recipe. 2 cups or 360 grams of dried beans, red, kidney, or pinto. 4 cups or 960 milliliters of boiling water. 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt. 2 teaspoons or 2 grams of dry mustard. 2 tablespoons or 25 grams of sugar. 1 cup or 240 milliliters of tomato sauce or ketchup. It's optional. 1 onion chopped. It's optional. 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of chili powder. I think I would use more than that, but that's just me. You want to soak the beans overnight and drain and add other ingredients. Cook for 1/2 hour on top of the stove, and put in bean pot and cook in slow cooker oven, 200 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, or 93 to 121 degrees Celsius for 3 hours, or turn the heat down and cook on the heavy saucepan on top of the stove until tender. Sounds good. Gotta have my cornbread with my chili, and then cinnamon rolls too. Well, there goes my diet. Okay, brown rice. I love brown rice. Okay, 1 cup or 198 grams of rice, 1/4 cup or 46 grams of tortillas, 1/4 cup or 40 grams of chopped onion, meat, celery, or other vegetables. It's optional. 1 teaspoon or 6 grams of salt, 3½ cups or 846 milliliters of water. Heat the shortening in the skillet, then add the rice. Cook, stirring constantly, about 10 minutes or until lightly brown. Add vegetables and continue cooking 2 to 3 minutes, optional. Add salt and water. Simmer over low heat 20 to 25 minutes, or until rice is tender and excess liquid is evaporated, and make 6 to 8 servings. Peanut butter cookies. Who likes peanut butter cookies? Now, the peanut butter cookies I make only has 3 ingredients. This here has a lot more than that. It says here, peanut butter cookies. 1/2 cup or 92 grams shortening. 1/2 cup or 97 grams white sugar. 1/2 cup or 106 grams of brown sugar. 1 egg or the egg substitute. 1/2 cup or 120 grams peanut butter. 1 to 1½ cups or 215 grams of white flour, or 196 grams of wheat flour. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, or 3 grams. 1/4 teaspoon or 1 gram of salt. Trim your shortening and add your sugars and beat until soft and fluffy. And add egg and beat well. Add peanut butter and mix thoroughly. Then you want to sift the flour and the soda and the salt into the mixture. And then drop the teaspoons on an ungreased cookie sheet. Press down with the floured fork and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius until lightly brown. And I also like to put little chocolate kisses or stars, or Hershey's kisses, or stars on top of each cookie. I'm a chocolate freak. How about soy patties? I don't know if that's any good or not, but that's one of the recipes, and I guess I will read it. Ready? 2 cups or 400 grams of soybean pulp, 2 cups or 400 grams of cooked brown rice, 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons, not cups, that's a lot. 2 tablespoons or 23 grams of vegetable fat, 1 onion chopped fine, 1/2 tablespoon or 8 milliliters of soy sauce, 1/2 teaspoon or 3 grams of salt. Flavor with garlic or sage. I would probably use both. 1/2 cup or 70 grams of whole wheat breadcrumbs, buttered. Mix all the ingredients except the breadcrumbs together, and then shape into patties and roll over the wheat breadcrumbs and bake in the greased pan for 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 Celsius until brown, or warm in a frying pan. Serve with gravy if desired. To make soybean pulp, soak the beans in water for at least 3 hours. Boil the beans in water for 15 minutes and drain. Mix the beans thoroughly by pounding on the blender with enough water to puree into a stiff paste. Sounds good to me. Soy meat. Wow. 1 pound or 545 grams of mashed soybeans. 1 cup or 137 grams of whole wheat flour. 2 eggs or egg substitute. 1 tablespoon or 18 grams of salt. 1 teaspoon or 1.5 grams of garlic. 1 teaspoon or a half a gram of oregano. 1 teaspoon or a half a gram of basil. Mix all the ingredients together and spoon into hot oil in the frying pan and cook on medium heat for a few hours, turning occasionally until brown and crusty. Use in place of ground meat. Wow. I suppose that's good if you're a vegetarian as well. But that's all the recipes I have, guys. I hope somebody got something out of that. If not, you can always watch it again and write it down. That way you've got it, because with the metrics mixed in there, it kind of messes it up a little bit, but that's how it was written. And some people don't know the difference between metrics and what is it we use. Regular, that's what I call it. So you have both. This way, if you want to learn metrics, it's there. Anyway, I've been on here pretty much all by myself. I don't know who Suppin' Han is. They said, "What's up?" Just visiting, and I guess the recipes wasn't enough to keep them here, so I will let you guys go. I've been on here long enough by myself. One day I'll have so many people I won't be able to keep up with comments. Right now, it's just me. I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. And this is Kids Misfit, so I'll see you on the next one. I love you guys.